This is the boy McCoy holding it down. Pure Beast Productions, holding it down, Season Magazine. You want it? They got it. Look for it, read it. You know how we do it. Come on, man. Stop playing. I'm working with a TV show right now, and I was screening the little promotional DVD spot that we got sent out to all the major networks. We didn't do a lot as far as the online campaign, other than we had a template for a base worldwide website that we used for all of the song searches and talent searches. We have the same law firm as American Idol. It's Greenberg, Strawbridge & Associates. I've been working with it for approximately 10 to 12 years now. This was the hit off this spring. I just got the final edit for the pop version playing at this location here. I was just showing my parents for the first time what I was doing. I was bringing in the kind of money that I had, because they never really knew what I did. You know what I mean? They never really understood like how it worked. They're not like media arts and entertainment people. That we grew up around the world, and it was because of their education that provided for us. But with this TV show, we're working with Brian McKnight and his family, all of his brothers and his nephews that were in Take Six. I don't know if you know too much about gospel, but they do gospel, a mega hit gospel record back in '83. It went diamond, 10 times platinum. On the gospel side, they did all their own songwriting, all the production themselves. And then Brian McKnight broke off in '98. He had his 10 times platinum record back at One, and he did all his own production and drum programming, as well as his own songwriting. So I mean, like, you talk about people that really have the financial resources to really get anything going, anytime, for any reason, and they still going strong. He he had the Brian McKnight show on the CW like 2-3 years ago. I was working with him on that. Now I got the TV show where his father and mother are involved, and his brother Fred is the creator of the show. It's just like, when I was going through the edit that I had now, my mother just looked at it and was like, hey, that's him. That's who y'all brought, to the family reunion. Had it at the house. They didn't even know. They don't even pay attention to it like that, because it's really not their forte. It was just that we're looking for long opportunities to make everyone aware of what's been brewing behind the scenes of the American Idol and X Factor and The Voice. You see what I'm saying? It's something along the lines of that. And when you're working with something that big, you're going to come across all kinds of people, like, their agents or their managers want to know who you are, what you're doing, what your track record is, what are your credit listings prior to what you're doing now, and what aspect of the industry had you been trained, or if you were trained, or is this just informal presentation, or is this a formal presentation? This is how I go. Undiscovered Live is what we've been about. It began out in California, Santa Monica, and Anaheim, right around that area. Mainly Anaheim, where Universal Studios is we work directly with Universal Studios to develop the spot that we have. I work with this institution here in Florida, in Orlando area, called Full Sail University, to develop the urban spot. The original spots were designed for a popular audience. And urban is basically anything hip-hop, R&B related, or contemporary R&B is still considered urban. Even gospel is considered urban. We did an audio-only edit. I took the initiative to pay for it myself. I just wanted to let them know, I believe in what they're doing. We went through, what's the name of the show on the CW network? It still comes on in the morning for 2 hours. It's called The Daily Buzz. And our contact is active on that show still after all these years. And what we were trying to do is work every aspect of the show as possible, because unlike American Idol, it isn't going to be just one show and then you turn the Idol chat on. The TV Guide Network is the mainstay show, and then you have derivatives of that show that are going to run either instantaneously or simultaneously. We're not sure how we're going to do it just yet. It just really depends on the political red tape. It would have been out probably about 5 years ago, but the problem was, the mainstay show, working with the McKnight family, they actually invited and got responses from the Quincy Jones, who won that ASCAP award for the all-time greatest artist. That's essentially what it amounted to. Quincy Jones is a silent partner in the show. The same Quincy Jones from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air from behind the scenes. The same Quincy Jones that produced White Man's Burden. The Quincy Jones. The very Quincy Jones that we had in that Wu-Tang video. The thing is, since American Idol was on Fox, they really wanted to redirect anything associated with American Idol to their specific network and contracts, because they get, residuals That's a polite way of saying they get a cut off the top. We were slated to go to UPN prior to the merger of UPN and the WB to form the CW network. After the merger, we kind of got lost in the shuffle. We had to go back and reformulate our plans and present something audio-visual, and that's where this edit comes in. And beforehand, it was really just like a handshake. Everyone was just, hey, I'm with you, whatever you need, whatever you want, just let us know. But the biggest problem was, he wanted to hire like 1,000 people and have like a black-owned middle major, and that's what he's looking towards now. That's why it's taking so long to formulate and get off the ground. He's been holding the revenues in arrears and rolling it over. So now we have the money, we have the timing. Mr. McKnight has the financial backing as well as the legal network that it takes to make something like this succeed. But outside of that, I contacted my people at the Island FGM Music Group, who I've been working with for like 10, 15 years. A lot of them had progressed. Some of them had left, got back in contact with them, and got put back in the books around 2002, about 10 years ago. It took like a 3-year hiatus. They were really, really interested to know what we were doing. And, as far as me personally, what I brought to the table was that urban feel, that youth that they really needed. It's completely different. These are people that have been in the industry for, when I was in Pull-Up, they were selling a diamond album. You know what I mean? So it's just like, take your time, really, and listen. Do more listening than you do talk. That's the reason why I wanted to get information on you guys, because you never know what people know. With the reality TV craze, I think what makes it successful is having a formidable research staff. There was no example for American Idol and this All About the Music TV show known as Undiscovered Live before they came to America. The only thing they had as an example was Star Search in the early 80s, and it wasn't like anything that they could use that was really current or relevant. The thing that really makes it successful is timing more so than anything. When you look at BET's College Hill, like they were moderately successful, but it didn't stay on that long. The timing was just off. It didn't want to display like a lot of college kids at predominantly black institutions doing the same thing that MTV was doing with their TV show. Timing more so than anything, and research. For the bulk of the research that we had, I used a small marketing firm, a niche-specific marketing firm out of D.C., just to get my numbers and facts right. I worked with Miss Jennifer Lynn Coulter. I asked her a couple of questions, and she documented a lot of stuff. She worked for BET at the time and then moved to a pre- and post-production house in D.C. called Envision Video. And I reiterate, it is timing and research. That's what makes those kind of programs, anything of that magnitude, successful. They will bang the numbers for every hour on the hour, just so they have some research documents for their sponsorship. And that's just for sponsorship, not for like daily operations. And when you realize that that's what they do to make it so successful, like nothing happens on a whim, nothing's just arbitrarily hit. Oh no, this is a hit, we got lucky. It's not like that. When you do your research and you go through the planning process, you pass the blueprint. And you build a scale model, a workable scale model. And the only other thing I would add, other than timing and research, would be allocation of funding. How you divvy up the funds to market, advertise, and promote. Like so many times you hear these shows that whether it's TV or radio, or whether it's online nowadays because of technology, that hit. They hit for a reason. A prime example, Howard Stern. Howard Stern, about 6 years ago, signed a contract to go to Sirius XM Radio for $100 million. He had been on the radio for 10, 15 years in New York beforehand. They did their research before they gave him that big contract. They knew it was going to hit with Sirius XM because of the research that they did. And the timing was good because his contract was up with Clear Channel. That's just how it works, man. My advice would be focus on your goal. The problem that I ran into was I held meeting after meeting after meeting. We established goals, set these goals on a timeline, and I kept deviating from it. When you deviate from your goal, the steps to reach that goal are going to become blurred. When you have goals, they become the blueprint for everything that you're trying to get accomplished. I typecast it, I'll say it somewhat, differently, but it is the same. When you have set goals, they become the blueprint, everything that you accomplish. Not try to do, not anticipate doing, but getting done. That is, you actually accomplish this. We had meetings for a 20-year plan. And this was about 15 to 18 years ago. And, we were at the CBS affiliate in Richmond, Virginia. And I tell a young McCoy, stick to your gun. Listen more than you talk. Footnote when you have an opportunity to. Header note when you have an opportunity to. Margin note when you have an opportunity to. Go back, reformulate your notes into a well-designed, concise, and precise plan. When you act on this plan, it becomes a plan of action, not just a plan in the planning state. And that's what I'll give for anyone that are looking for success. Like, if you're trying to measure success by finances, anyone can sell their soul to the highest bidder. Be informed in front of the scenes, being like a typical puppet, and everybody wants to know who the puppets are that are unaware from the outside looking in. But everybody from the inside looking out wants to know who's Geppetto, who's the puppeteer. I mean, that's why you see the vast majority of the people that really get money stay behind the scenes. I mean, I've not seen Bud Yorkin, try to impress himself in front of the scene, but yet every television show from the 70s and 80s that was formidable, that had Hispanics and Black and Asians in it, was a Bud Yorkin creation. I mean, listen, stop, listen, document, research. Footnote, header note, margin note. Put your plan into action and do not deviate. This is the boy McCoy holding it down. Pure Beats Productions, holding it down, Seasons Magazine. You want it? They got it. Look for it, read it. You know how we do it. Come on, man. Stop playing.